Greetings. I'm going to talk today about something that my teacher mentioned as one of the most important things in traditional Taijiquan, and he thought it was one of the things that is sorely lacking in the practices of all the internal arts, but especially in Taijiquan, and that's called the torso method, or whole body method. And that's kind of the name that he summed it up as, but other teachers and other masters have used that, and it's written in the classics that way too. They refer to using the system of Taijiquan with the whole body, and also, of course, with the whole body, the whole mind, because the mind is what's governing the body. What does that mean? Okay, I'm going to use an example that my teacher talked about from everyday life. Now, my teacher, he liked the Yankees, which is a New York baseball team, and he would always talk about there's two ways of doing things. There's hand method or torso method. And the same thing with Tai Chi. There's either hand method or torso method. Torso method is sometimes called whole body method. And this is how he would explain it with baseball. He said, do you think that the New York Yankees would pitch like this? He said, of course not. Okay, he said in New York Yankees, they use the whole body. And he's like $1 million athletes. They use their whole body. Same thing with discus throwers. So if you watch from track and field or on the Olympics, you'll see the discus throwers. Their whole body is used to release that disc. Now, can you imagine if they just went like this, trying to throw the disc? Okay, another thing, if you want to think about the arts, if you think about music, if you think about maybe a famous cellist or a famous violin player, and you gave them a piece of sheet music with, say, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and you gave someone who was a beginner at playing an instrument, and you gave them Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Now, who's going to sound better? Okay, and what do you see as a difference if you watch maybe in a live concert, or if you watch it on the television? What do you see the difference between the beginner musician is related to, or I should say compared to, the advanced musician? The virtuoso musician, would they play their violin like this? Of course not. Their whole body goes into it. Their whole mind goes into it. And the result is you have much better sounding music. It's the art, it's the energy that's being expressed. But you can take the same sheet music and give it to someone who's a beginner or doesn't have a lot of passion or really doesn't have talent or interest in playing that instrument, and then give it to someone who's got the passion and the experience for how to play that instrument, and it is going to sound like it came from two different worlds. That's an expression of the energy. You're hearing that. You're able to experience that. And you can see one person plays with their whole body, the torso method, versus somebody who just kind of plays very mechanically. Now in Tai Chi, it's the same thing. You have to think about where the heck are your limbs connected to anyways? Well, they're connected to your torso. And actually all the movement originates through your central nervous system before it goes into your peripheral nervous system. Well, where is that? That's in your torso, right? And then it goes out into the periphery. So that's actually the way of nature. And we are actually one unit. The only reason that we think we're separate units is because of what I call the illusion of the bones. And that's because you have bones in you. You think you're separate pieces, but you're not. If you took all of your bones out and you were just like this big amoeba, you would have torso method, just like a jellyfish. It's a beautiful example of torso method. So what does that mean? That means in your Tai Chi, you have to work on how do you get the core to move out into the periphery. Now in sports, that's probably the closest to why you would do this in sports as same thing why you would do it in Tai Chi. Now, in sports you do it for two main reasons. One, why does a baseball pitcher not pitch like this? Why does a discus thrower not throw like this? Because there's no power in it. If you use torso method, there's power in it, okay? There's power in that movement. You get a lot more mileage out of the same amount of energy than if you just went like this. So if you want to use it martially, of course, you're going to get a lot more power from your punches and kicks. I won't go over that here. And for health, oh my gosh, if you're doing Tai Chi as a torso method, now you're going to exercise every section, every cell in your body instantaneously at every moment, every part of your movement. Everything will get exercised. So in my jaded opinion, it is a very extremely efficient way of moving and giving therapy to yourself. Okay, so if you want to increase your chi, if you want to get your circulation improved, if you want to get the function of your nervous system heightened, nothing can beat torso method. Now another reason, why does a baseball player not pitch like this all day, and why does a discus thrower not throw like this all day? Well, what do you think is going to happen if they do this just over and over and over and over and over for years and years and days and days and days? What's going to happen? Every day like this for years and years, what happens? They're going to injure themselves. It's repetitive motion injury. Now, don't do your Tai Chi like that. Okay, because sometimes people will do that for 20 years. They think just doing the choreography is just going to magically do something for them. And maybe it calms them down a little bit or something, but they're still going to age. Their body's still going to deteriorate like everyone else. In fact, sometimes if they're doing their Tai Chi without principle and structure, they actually hurt themselves because you're vectoring so much energy into your body. And if you don't vector it properly and it doesn't go to the right places and you don't get it out into the earth or out into your opponent and it keeps coming back into you, then you take the punishment. And that's not what you want to do. So please focus on always using your whole body all the time with your Tai Chi and also your qigong and everything else. Not only for the energy and the artistry, but also for the power and also to prevent injury and to get so much more, to get squeezed so much more out of it. If you're going to do it for the same amount of time, get the most out of it. Okay, and it will enrich your experience, it will enrich your practice. I can promise you that. And I myself have used Tai Chi in many different ways. So for martial arts, I can't even tell you how amazingly different it is in power and protecting yourself if you use torso method than if you don't use it. And for health, it's just done so much for me, I can't even put it into words. I mean, that's how I cured my Crohn's disease. It's how I got rid of a martial arts injury on my knee. It's how I fixed so many things, and I feel really good. And even if I just do a few minutes of Tai Chi practice, I get so much out of it as compared to if I'm doing another modern exercise or something like this, or Western exercise, and not using whole body method. It's unbelievable, the difference. And also you get a deeper quality of life because you can understand what's going on around you if you're looking at the arts, if you're listening to music or looking at somebody painting, or if you're watching a sport, you can immediately understand what's going on. And it's a wonderful and enriching way to live. So please make sure you put this into your Tai Chi, your qigong, your Neijia internal arts, and enjoy. Okay? Talk to you later.